YouTube channel watchers. First things first on this video is a part 2 to a video that I recorded last week. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to record the second part of this, but I intended to do it all in one video. And when you are new to creating YouTube videos like I am, sometimes things just happen. All I have for equipment right now is my iPhone for recording, and I am still working out like how to make sure that I have enough storage left on my iPhone so that my video doesn't get cut off. And yeah, it's a big problem. But anyway, so apparently my video got cut off at the end yesterday. So that's okay or last week, because the first part of the video was just me talking about my reactions to all of the new news coming out. The second part was really more of an unboxing of some new stuff that I've gotten. So I can just do that in this part, no problem. I apologize it took me so long to get back to this, but it has just been crazy. My full-time job is as a nurse and a teacher, and I'm in charge of a program, and it's a whole thing. It's really, really hard right now with work because everything is so crazy busy. We're getting ready to go back to fall semester, and it's just been nuts. So that's my excuse for why it's been so long. But hopefully I'll be making more of these videos, and you'll start to see them coming out more regularly. I'm working on learning how to make the background behind me look better, how to make the lighting better. I need to probably get a better camera. That's probably job one. But anyway, here we go. Thanks for watching. My few people who watch these videos, I like 4 people that watch these videos. But thank you for being here, and thank you for interacting. I love to see the comments, and I love to talk to you guys in the comments. I'm probably never going to be one of those people that's like, watch my videos, like and subscribe, make sure that you share. I'll probably never be that person because it's obnoxious to me when I see that on videos. So I'm not going to do it to you. So anyway, thanks for being here. So here's what I have in terms of unboxing. I have a friend who is getting ready to move, and they are downsizing a lot of their Doctor Who collection, and I was able to snag a few Big Finish CDs. These are not brand new CDs. They're kind of older stories, but a couple of them were ones that I was really interested in, and one of them was something that I had never heard of before. So tell me whether or not, what order you think that you would listen to these in. Have you listened to any of them before? Do you like them? Do you have any recommendations for me based on these 3 that I picked up? The first one that I picked up is Shada, and this is the Paul McGann version of Shada. So Shada is one of those stories, if you're not familiar with it, it's one of those stories that is just very... I think I may have talked about this a little bit at the very tail end of the last video, but it is a story that was written for production for television, and it was in one of Tom Baker's era, and it was meant to be fully produced just like a regular story and then put on air, but sort of halfway through production, there was this big strike that made the story, the recording of the story sort of all fall apart. And then they went to the new season, and it all just sort of went away. So they never did finish this story in terms of production. So in the meanwhile, the BBC sort of had all of this footage sitting around, and they used it for various things. But later on, this is a story that gets tinkered with a lot, and people like to go back and recreate the story and do different versions of it. So I was going to show you, because I didn't do this in my last video, this is part of my hot mess collection of DVDs, but this is one version of it. And you can see I got this from a sale from a library. So this is really, really crappy quality DVD, but the DVD actually in here works really well. But this particular version is a DVD version that you can get. This happens to be the United States release. And on the back it says, this special DVD release features the legendary unfinished 4th Doctor story, newly restored from the original film negatives and studio recordings, with 1992 linking material from the Tom Baker and the 1993 anniversary special, More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS. So right around 92, 93, they did a version where Tom Baker kind of went in and talked through the missing bits in between, so you could watch the clips that they made, and then Tom Baker would come in and go, okay, now during this time, blah blah blah, this is happening. So it's kind of a neat version. And it has that documentary, More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS, and I talked about that on a previous video also. So if you're wondering what that is, go back about 2 videos on my channel and I talk about this, More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS. All right, so there's that version. But if you want to see a really good Tom Baker version, this is the version that I really like, and this is the version that they've just recently come out with. You can see this is a non-US region DVD. So I think this one is region 2. I can't tell right off the bat, but anyway, it will work in a region-free player, but this one is a version that what they did was they animated the bits that were missing. So you can see it's kind of a mix of animation, and then they did some, oh, I think the whole thing is animated. Let me see. It's been a minute since I watched this one. Live action reference footage. Okay, so what they did was they animated this whole thing, but they got back some of the people to do some of the voiceovers. And if you watch this all the way through to the very end, they do kind of a little Easter egg, and Tom Baker, old man Tom Baker, kind of makes an appearance. So this is a really good version of Shada. Another version of Shada, if you like audio and audiobooks, audio productions, there is an Audible audiobook version where Lalla Ward, Romana 2, narrates the Douglas Adams novelization of Shada, because Douglas Adams was the author of this story. And it's quite long. I want to say it's like 16 hours, but it's really a good read if you like it. Okay, so back to my unboxing. So this version here is something that happened in the Wilderness years. Because this story gets jacked around with a lot, I think the story behind this is what they wanted to do was put Paul McGann in the role of the Doctor, but have it be the same story. So they actually have some of the same people. They have, you can see here, they have Lalla Ward, they have John Leeson as K9. And so they just sort of, instead of having Tom Baker as the Doctor, they have Lalla Ward, they have Paul McGann, which is kind of interesting. So here's what you get in this one. I'm excited to listen to this one. I usually listen in my car. So I'm just going to put these up here for a brief moment. You can pause if you want and look here. But it looks like they have a few people who were involved in the production making comments. So that's kind of sweet. And then the credits, and then some advertisements for the 8th Doctor collection. I haven't listened to a great many 8th Doctor Big Finish audios. I know that it was a big deal during the Wilderness years, but it's just one of those things that I haven't gotten around to doing much of yet. And because I'm real familiar with the Shada story, I think I'll probably really enjoy listening to this. So I was looking to see if it says how long it is. Running time, 138 minutes. So I should get 138 minutes of fun out of that one. Have any of you guys seen this? Listen to this one. Do you like it? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the Paul McGann version or the Tom Baker version, and why? The second one that I got from my friend is called The Nightmare Fair. And this is one of the lost stories, or the so-called lost stories. So that's kind of a whole other long story to tell, which is there was a whole season of Colin Baker stories that were mocked up. Some of them were written to some degree. Some of them were just mocked up. And some of them just briefly sketched out, like, what would this be? And then some of them were written a little bit more elaborately. And like I said, a whole season of them, and then they just sort of got scrapped for one reason or another. I should probably go back and research it some, and then I can come back and tell the story better about why they got scrapped. But I have watched some behind the scenes documentaries and some other things where they've talked quite a bit about these stories. And this one always catches my eye when they talk about them. It's called The Nightmare Fair. And it is a story that features the Celestial Toymaker. And if you're a classic Doctor Who fan, then you know that the Celestial Toymaker is a classic baddie from the First Doctor's era, really towards the end of the First Doctor's era. And it's always cool when they bring back some of those like classic baddies. So this one says the TARDIS has been drawn to Blackpool in the year 1985. The Celestial Toymaker has returned. The game is on. So that's the synopsis there if you want to read the full thing. I'm excited about this because I love it when they go back and play around with old stories and do kind of updates to them, or this one actually got written out. It says it was written by Graham Williams, so that's great. So I think this one should be good. Any of you guys familiar with the Lost Stories? What's your favorite one? Which one should I get next after this? This is the CD that I didn't know anything about, but it just sort of came with the other two. This is called The Trouble with Drax. I'm going to get embarrassed probably by not knowing anything about these characters. But anyway, it's got the Dr. Romana, K9, Drax, Rosser, and then some sort of bit characters. It takes place Altrazar, the temporal Atlantis, a place lost to time. So it looks like an Atlantis story. There's the synopsis if you want to pause and read that. So this should be just kind of sometimes it's fun to just pop in one that you don't know anything about and see if you can get drawn into the story and see if you like it. Every once in a while, those types of ones end up becoming some of my favorites. So I'm excited. I don't do a super ton of driving these days. This house that we just moved into is 15 minutes away from my work, where it used to be a much longer commute. So it'll be a good excuse to get in my car and go driving somewhere. I literally think that is the only place I have a CD player now, because my computer doesn't even have a CD, like pop out CD deck anymore. So maybe that might be something I need to invest in, because I love Big Finish so much and I don't always want to just be stuck in my car when I want to listen to some Big Finish. So do you guys have any, like, how do you listen? I like the CDs because I like a lot of Doctor Who people, I'm a little bit jaded on not having a physical copy of something. Like, I understand that Big Finish has an app and you can listen through the app, and sometimes I do, but I like also to have the physical copies just in case, because you just don't ever know, like, when something's going to go backwards. The other thing that I sometimes will talk to people about in terms of why I keep all of the DVDs that I have is because streaming services, since I've been a Doctor Who fan, Doctor Who has moved streaming services at least 4 times. And so when I first started watching Doctor Who, it was on Netflix. And then I think it moved to Amazon Prime, and then I think it kind of came off of Prime, and then it went to BritBox for a little while, was the only place you could get it for maybe a couple of months. And then now it's on HBO Max, which is, I mean, and that's all fine, but like, you can't even get, sometimes you can't get the most recent, like if it's a special, you can't get it on HBO Max until the following season. It doesn't drop. I think that's what happened to the last one. So I ended up having to go back to Amazon and purchase it there so that I could watch it, because I don't have cable or a big satellite dish or anything like that. So I don't actually have BBC America in my house. So I can't watch it live, as it were. I know some people TiVo those things because they have that channel, but I don't know, man. How do you guys get yours? Like, give me some tips. I'd love it. So those are all the questions that I have for you. Again, this is not a ploy to get you to comment in my comments or anything like that. I just like interacting with other people who also nerd out about Doctor Who. I don't think I have anything coming up in the mail for new stuff, but you just don't ever know. So I think maybe my next video, I'll probably let you know what I think about the CDs, but let me know if there's any specific story or anything else that you're interested in hearing about, and I'll make a video. Great to talk to you guys on YouTube, and hopefully this video works with my upload, so knocking on wood. But anyway, have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.